Uxorious. While driving the car to work, Duck was hit in the back with a sharp pain and a sharp command sounded, "Lose your brain, forget your rice." He quietly ran into the house carrying a lunchbox. "Remember to call for lunch, Min Trang," Duck's wife continued. "I remember," he replied and started the engine. "In my family, every word of my wife is holy," said Tran Minh Duc, 27 years old, a factory worker in Hung Yen, laughing before driving to work. Right at lunchtime, Duck made a video call, panned the camera around to prove to his wife that he was sitting at the company cafeteria. Famous for being afraid of his wife, no one finds it difficult to understand his actions. Every day, Duck's wife is forced to bring lunch and eat at the company, so every morning he wakes up early to cook porridge for his children and put things in the washing machine. His schedule to work is always fixed, not more than 5 minutes early, not more than 10 minutes late. His monthly salary is transferred directly to his wife's account, and the salary and bonus messages are also equal to her phone number. Sometimes you ask to go out for a beer, he has to explain to whom, where, what time to return and absolutely do not dare to go back 10 minutes after his wife's permission. Despite listening to his wife like that, the husband was often beaten. Neighbors have witnessed times when the wife was not satisfied that the husband was punched and kicked. "To be honest, I'm afraid of her," Duck shared. Pham Ngoc Lien, 36 years old, in Hanoi also identifies himself as a person who is afraid of his wife. Running an advertising agency, he is busy all day, but every time he comes home, he transforms into a standard Osin. Besides washing dishes, sweeping the house, he bathed his 3 children. His wife did something wrong. Being scolded by her sister, he only dared to laugh. The family's finances are all taken care of by him alone, however, whether big or small at home or in the company, he consults her. "If she doesn't understand, I don't dare to decide," Lin said. Lin often expresses his feelings, saying that he is afraid of his wife on social networks and believes that being afraid of his wife is a way to maintain happiness. Photo supplied by the character. Lin often expresses his feelings, saying afraid of his wife on social networks and believes fear of his wife is a way to maintain happiness. Photo supplied by the character. According to the journalist, speaker Hong Un, 2 men are afraid of their wives is a topic that can be talked about forever. It can both be said in a tragic voice, can be used as a joke, used to debate class between men, and can be used to satirize and mock the wives themselves when they are not present. Mr. Tu has met and played with many men who are afraid of their wives. Wherever a friend goes, everyone has to take a selfie to report because his wife is jealous. One day that person was drinking water, Mr. Tu and a female colleague walked over to the table to have fun. He quickly drank a glass of water and got up to go home because he didn't know how to explain to his wife to believe that the girl sitting with him was a colleague of Tu, journalist Hong Un Tu said. The reason is because he once had an affair and was discovered by his wife, so he was afraid. Psychologist Tran Kim Phan, Hanoi, shared, "There is a male client who is the general director of a company in the field of import and export, has money and power. But standing in front of his wife like a dog," said Mrs. Phan. The wife is tall, fierce, or loudly yells at her husband not only in the house but also in front of neighbors and relatives. She even had an affair in her own home with a man who had been adopted by her husband. When the husband discovered, confronted with 3 sides and 1 word, asked them to end the relationship, his wife insulted him in front of his lover. The saddest thing is that she brought out his weakest point, which is that he couldn't meet his wife's needs, Miss Phan shared. Despite the incident, this man still did not leave his wife. Later, it was the wife who got bored with her husband, left to work abroad, married and stayed abroad, while the husband took care of 2 children. According to expert Kim Fan, men who are afraid of their wives are often divided into three types. First, respect and love your wife, so you should listen and value your wife's opinion. This type of saying is afraid of the wife to give her more love, but in fact respect. The wife in this case is usually the person whose values and way of life are valued in the eyes of her husband and in the family. The second type of fear of the wife is to yield to the peace of the house. The wife of this subject is often also cool. The husband understands the story and actively chooses to yield, because even talking will not go anywhere, only causing more contradictions and conflicts. The third type is fear of the real wife, like being overwhelmed, caught by the soul. This type of husband does not want to be afraid of his wife but does not know how to protest. The wife of this subject is usually the female general in the house, governing and controlling everything and even her husband. There are even cases where the husband is found to be bullying and acts excessively, behaves disrespectfully, and behaves badly towards her husband. No matter how afraid of his wife, there is a reason behind it. Like workman Duck, who had committed a crime, his wife caught him. He and his wife got married when they were both university students, because they were pregnant. Many people advised to abort the pregnancy to continue studying, but Train chose to get married, take care of her children, then work as a worker to support her husband through university. From empty hands, largely thanks to her nurturing talent, they now have their own houses,